Since 2004, Kennedy Heights Art Center has brought together more than 20,000 people in a wide range of arts and cultural experiences, including art exhibitions, arts education programs for young people and adults, and a wide range of community events, from festivals and concerts on the lawn to poetry readings and an art parade. The arts have sparked creativity, stimulated conversation, brought people together, and created a more vibrant and inclusive community.
Spring, April 2003, a couple of people were gathering at the Dubliners, and somebody said, which is a bar downtown, usually good ideas come from bars, and said that they were interested in changing this into an art center.
I live right around the corner, and I used to drive by here every day. And as long as I can remember, this had been a funeral home. All of a sudden one day there was a for sale sign out in the front yard, and it said that on Saturday there was going to be an auction of the house and all of its contents. So being a realtor, I came running down the street on Saturday and just wanted to see the house. I'd always wanted to see it. And while I was here, I met up with a group of people who had been talking about turning this into a community art center. I was sort of a ragtag group. They had a yoga instructor, a couple of sculptors, and just some community-minded people, and they were here at the auction, and they were going to buy this house.
We're sitting in the bar, and a couple of people said, "Well, this could really happen." And then I found out later that they had walked through here and stopped the sale, effectively, with the owner when she got interested. Saying, "Whoa, an art center," and she was a Head Start teacher or a Head Start consultant, so this was right up her alley, and always wanted to do something for the community. So basically, I said, I'd rather have an art center than a car wash 2 blocks from my house.
I became involved with the art center when I learned that there were a group of people purchasing this building. And I found out who they were and called the president and said, "I'd like to be involved. Could I meet with you? That I'm a longtime resident of Kennedy Heights. I'm thrilled about the prospect, and I want to meet with you to see what I could do to help." I was excited because I lived in Kennedy Heights. I know what our community stands for, and I hated to see another vacant building. I also felt it was important when I learned that it was going to be an art center, that our children would have another opportunity to grow in a different way. And I just was really excited that we could participate and help change this corridor here. So I immediately volunteered, started trying to raise money for the Arts Center, and contacted former neighbors, former students, and said, let's send money and help them get it started.
Well, one of the founders, one of the initiators, had a contact at City Hall and discovered that we could get a $50,000 deposit or loan from the city toward the purchase if we would match it with our own 50.
Finally, one of our group, Kathy Spoon, said that she had gotten money for an investment property at Columbia Savings Bank in Clifton. And we went down there and basically just begged them for money and said, "We want to buy this property. We're a nonprofit. We have $50,000. Why won't you lend us the money?" And they said, "Well, you would have to have a personal guarantor. One of you needs to buy the building yourself." And we said, "Well, we don't want to own it as a person. We want to own it as a nonprofit corporation." And they said, "Well, you'd still have to have somehow you'd have to have a guarantee against the property. So one of you just be the guarantor." And we said, "Well, we don't want to give one person that burden." And they said, "Well, okay, split the burden up. Just have 2 guarantors, have 10 guarantors." And that is when the light bulb went off.
So we went to City Council and said, if everybody throws in 1,000 here and 1,000 there, we'd have 50 like nothing. And that night we got about 37. So we had that money in our pocket. Went to a festival, Pleasant Ridge Festival, got another 6 or 7 at that. Actually, we got about 10 at that time. We're getting close. Then it started pouring in. We called the bank and said, "We've got the 50 and here's another 10. He said, "No, stop, just match the city money."
My children had gone to Kennedy schools, so I began writing letters on my own to calling individuals and saying, "Won't you please send some money and help. As a result of that, there were several neighborhood parties that individuals would invite friends in, and we sent money that way. Any place I could find $1 for the Arts Center, I went after it.
We were still $37,000 apart from sale price, and we went to the realtor and said, why is there a shortfall here? What's happening with Mrs. Douglas? He said, well, she owes taxes for former funerals in Ohio, state of Ohio. Well, our attorney goes up to Ohio regularly, here a local attorney, Alger Hardstein, and he went up and went to the funeral board or whoever they are, the Board of Taxes, and said, look, you know, there's just this much. These people are never going to open up a funeral home. She wasn't even responsible for it, it was her husband. How about just forgiving the $30,000? And when that $30,000 went away, she walked away without being in bankruptcy. We walked away with a building, and everybody was happy. And so,
volunteer effort and a lot of begging, but we got all the little pieces assembled and got to closing. And as soon as we closed, we started art classes. They weren't here because the building wasn't really safe yet, but we started art classes within a week at Woodford School. So the Art Center began the minute we got to closing.
the second day was, where is the mortgage going to come from? Because then it was going to be about $2,000 a month, $1,800, something like that. I was riding home from Texas in a pickup truck with my wife, I think, and all of a sudden this call came across from Richard Cook, and he said, Mr. Lindner just sent us, I think it was $15,000. And there we go, we had 3 or 4 months.
Within the first summer, we were having volunteer work parties where people would just come with hammers and nails and brooms and mops and just come over here and clean. They ripped all the plaster out of the back. They sanded the floors. They pulled down miles of wallpaper and draperies. This place was full of drapes. They pulled up carpeting. They really, they cleaned up garbage. They cut down dead trees. It was an amazing amount of volunteer effort. Every Saturday, we would buy pizza and big jugs of water, and they would just come.
The location was one that didn't lend itself to invite people to walk on the property or go near the property. Sort of an eyesore in the community. Additionally, across the street, there was a bar that sort of had a dubious distinction with a lot of problems, a lot of drug dealing on the corners, Kennedy and Montgomery, just a negative pedestrian traffic, I would call it. And there was no sort of living, breathing community activity at all. And so as the Arts Center began to develop its outdoor programming, its exhibitions, its bringing the community together, it changed that whole atmosphere, that whole scene. The Winterfest activities with the sleigh rides and the tree lighting, all of a sudden there was activity that brought the community together and was all around the art.
Kennedy Heights is a very special community. It's a great place to live and raise children. Back in the 60s, people banded together to create an intentionally diverse community and a thriving community. The Art Center has come into our community and has continued that love of diversity and thriving and success. I am particularly impressed when I come by in the summer and see the children in the summer camps working on their projects or presenting their projects or just playing out in the yard. And I see all that diversity and all that love coming together in our community. We have a very special place in the Art Center, and we love having it in our community.
For our community, I think one of the benefits the center brings is an opportunity for folks who have not been involved in this kind of activity in the past, that is the development of an art center. And I think it's especially significant for the fact that we are a racially integrated community. It's probably one of the, if I recall correctly, 14 or 15 neighborhoods in Greater Cincinnati that have established fairly long term, and ours goes back to probably to about 60, 70 years. So this is an opportunity, the Art Center, to bring about more interracial, intercultural kinds of activities. It's been a tremendous boost to the neighborhood's sense of itself.
Oh gosh, the results are great. When I drive past this front of this building and see this, I get so excited. When I come inside, I'm warm and fuzzy, but to see the outside, it's really made a difference in the whole community. And I know it stimulates other businesses, and it also stimulates the community neighbors to take an interest in their homes and the street, so that the community is coming together again and working for the Arts Center, and I think that's wonderful.
I think really what caught on was this place. This was like rubbing a lamp, because as soon as you rubbed it, a genie came out, all these people came out. Because this community had lost its public school, it lost its swimming pool, it lost its recreation center over the years because the school had fallen in disrepair, so the CPS took it down and replaced it with a Kroger's, and the Kroger's fell apart, so we had this. So this was really an idea waiting to happen because of all the energy in the community.
Kennedy Heights Art Center is here today because of the generous support of so many individuals. A major gift from Carl and Edith Lindner and Robert and Betty Lindner helped the Art Center get started, and the Lindners have remained strong supporters. Grants from the City of Cincinnati, Greater Cincinnati Foundation, ArtsWave, Ohio Arts Council, and so many other local foundations have supported our programming for the community. But what is at the heart of all of our support is the gifts from individuals. Just as these individuals helped get the Art Center started in the beginning, they continue to sustain our organization through annual financial gifts and volunteer contributions.
The Kennedy Heights Art Center has become more than we ever imagined. It is the heart of our community. We're looking forward to where the next 10 years will take us.